All right, let's jump right in. We're getting a peek inside day 26, the final review day for someone learning what could be one of the most powerful skills on the planet: quantum code breaking. This isn't just about reading a textbook. This is where theory gets real fast.
So, what does it actually take? What's it like day in and day out, trying to wrap your head around an algorithm so powerful it could literally rewrite the rules of digital security as we know them? Let's find out. First up, we need to set the stage. Think of this as the final exam for a future code breaker, and the stakes couldn't be higher. And this really frames the whole conflict perfectly, doesn't it? On one side, you've got modern encryption. It's like a super complex digital safe that protects basically everything we do online. On the other side, Shor's algorithm. That's the theoretical master key that a quantum computer could use to just pop that lock right open. So what exactly is this master key? Well, at its core, Shor's algorithm is just a quantum recipe for factoring a huge number. Now, that might sound pretty academic, but here's the thing. That exact problem is the reason systems like RSA, the backbone of so much of our online security, are secure. They rely on that problem being basically impossible for normal computers to solve. All right, so to actually use this key, our student has to have their quantum toolkit down cold. Let's break down their game plan. The crucial thing here is that this isn't just one magic step. It's a four-part process. First, you set up the quantum state. Then comes the real magic, the quantum Fourier transform. You can think of it like a special kind of prism. It takes this jumbled up quantum state and reveals a hidden, repeating pattern inside it. Once you measure the frequency of that pattern, you just hand that number over to a regular old computer, which does the final bit of math, and boom, out pop the factors. And this really gets to the heart of what day 26 is all about. It's one thing to get the steps on a whiteboard. It's a whole other thing to actually build a quantum circuit that does it and to really trust the answer you get back. That's what we mean by confidence. And now for what's probably the hardest part of the day. This is where our student has to leave the clean, neat world of theory and dive headfirst into the messy reality of making it all work. We're heading into the debugging maze. And we're not just talking about finding typos in the code. The challenges here are uniquely quantum. Are your qubits lined up correctly? Are the quantum gates in the exact right sequence? Are your measurements messing up the state? You could even make your circuit too clunky with extra gates and ruin the whole thing. This is the real nitty-gritty work of a quantum programmer. And yeah, this quote, it just nails it. The elegant math on paper turns into this tangled web of things that can go wrong in your code. Bridging that gap, hunting down and squashing those messy real-world bugs, that's the biggest step toward actually mastering this stuff. So, after sharpening those debugging skills in the maze, it's time to face the real-world gauntlet. So here's the mission they're given. A company needs this algorithm to work, not just once, in a perfect simulation, but reliably. Your job is to make sure these circuits are solid, validated, and ready to go on actual quantum hardware, which, by the way, is often noisy and imperfect. All of a sudden, this feels very, very real. And that's exactly why this part of the training is so important. You might be wondering, why spend all this time debugging in a simulation? Well, because it lets you find almost all of your errors way early on. It helps you streamline your circuits to be as efficient as possible. And critically, it gets your code ready for the much tougher, unforgiving environment of a real quantum computer. After running that gauntlet, our student comes out the other side totally transformed. They've leveled up. They are now officially quantum ready. So what does that actually look like? Well, the takeaways are pretty clear. A huge part of it is just making those fundamental principles rock solid. But just as important are the practical, hands-on debugging skills and the confidence they've built using a specific tool like Qiskit. And maybe most important of all, it builds this mindset of trying, failing, and trying again. But when all is said and done, it all boils down to one single, tangible result: a finished product. A piece of code that actually works, that's been debugged, and that proves they have the skill. That's a real asset for their portfolio. So in the end, this day wasn't just about finishing one module or checking a box. It was about earning the right to move on to the next level. The real achievement here is readiness, being prepared to tackle even more advanced topics in quantum computing. And that leaves us with this huge, fascinating question. We've just watched a single day in the life of a quantum code breaker in training. As this first generation of experts finishes their training, They're going to hold the keys to a brand new technological world. The only question is, what will they choose to build and what will they choose to break?